Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a minute, I know, but my birthday was on the 16th of this month, so I did take some time off just to have a little celebration and enjoy some time with friends and family and get some really nice birthday presents. My son got me this necklace and these earrings, which I absolutely adore. But anyways, so I had a good birthday and I really enjoyed that. But I am back, and you know, I got to thinking about it. I get a lot of emails from you guys and a lot of DMs asking about the formulas that I use in my daily routine when it comes to makeup. What's my favorite primers? What are my current favorite products that I use on myself personally? So I thought I would do a favorites video and just go over with you guys products that are currently my favorites that are in my daily routine that I use every day. We are going to do this in two videos. I'm going to do one that is for middle to high end, and then one that is for drugstore, because I do use both in my everyday. So this one, we're going to talk about the middle to high end products that I use, and the next one will be my drugstore products that are my current favorites. So if that's something you guys are interested in watching, then you're in the right place. Say it with me. We're about to get into it.
Watch out for me, I'm about to glow. You better watch out for me, I'm about to glow.
Alright guys, so this was not the easiest video to make, and I'll tell you why. A lot of the reason is because I have very combination skin. There are days, especially the colder days that we've had recently, that my skin is very dry and very thirsty, and on those days I tend to use a different set of products than I do on the days where my skin is more normal to combo. On days where my skin is just kind of normal to combo, I do use products that tend to be a little more oil controlling in my T-zone. But when it's cold outside, I really don't need to do that. So I do make some adjustments depending on the weather. So you'll find that in each category, I have a couple of different products that I use depending on what my skin is feeling like for that day. But we are going to start where it all begins, and that's with primers. So the first product I want to go over with you guys is by Too Faced, and that is the Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer by Too Faced. Now, this primer is very creamy. It is more of a silicone-free type formula. It is infused with coconut water, and it is a probiotic-based formula. So this is really, really good for the skin. It also helps really lock your makeup down, and it makes your foundation and everything else that you put on top of it very long wearing. The problem with this is that while it's a very good hydrating primer, it doesn't do a really good job at filling in the pores. This is also 1.35 fluid ounces, and it costs $32. Now, you can get the mini version of this for $15. It's like 0.68 ounces, but a little bit of this goes a really long way. So on those days where your skin feels a little bit drier or you feel like you need a little bit more nourishing, you can just get the mini size and just use it on those occasions. It'll last you a lot longer than you think it will. But I tend to get the bigger one because my skin has been a lot more dry recently than it has previously. So I've been using this a lot. But like I said, I do have issues with large pores, and this particular primer is not very good for solving that particular problem. So I find myself having to reach for an additional primer just to put like in my T-zone here where my pores tend to be a little larger. Now, I used to always go with a primer for that particular purpose that was made by a brand who shall no longer be named on this channel, but since I don't use any more of their products, I've been forced to try and find a substitute. And I've recently reached for the NARS Pore and Shine Control primer, and it's this little skinny tube, but this is a very interesting pore filling primer. It also controls shine, so I like putting it through my T-zone in addition to filling out the pores. But this is also not that typical pore filling formula that's very dimethicone-y. It's a lot more creamier of a formula, but it does a good job at filling in the pores, and I really, really like that. So on the days where I use the Hangover primer because my skin is very dehydrated, then I always use it with the NARS Pore and Shine Control Primer, and these two make a good fit for me. On days where I want a little bit more radiance and just want to smooth out everything and kind of do a 2-in-1, I've been reaching for the Stellar Beauty Brilliant Primer. And right now I just have this in a sample. I actually got a couple of samples of this. I am going to go ahead and purchase the full size because I love it so much. The full size is $35. It is that typical smoothing formula, but it's not greasy like that Smashbox Photo Finish dimethicone kind of primers. It has essential oils in it and very natural extracts. This is also vegan and cruelty free, and it does an amazing job at filling in the pores, hydrating the skin, giving you an overall smooth appearance. I love this primer. Sticking with primers, let's move on to eye primers. Now, the oldie but goodie, the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion is what I always use to prime my eyes with. Well, recently, I've actually started reaching for the Viseart. Now, Viseart has a primer, and it's called the Seamless Eye Primer. It's $24, and the difference between this and the Urban Decay Primer Potion is that sometimes that Urban Decay Primer Potion will still crease on you a little bit, and sometimes you'll have that separation on your eyes when you put that primer down. With the Viseart primer, this does not separate. There is no creasing with your shadow, and it makes your shadow stay on all day long. This is my new favorite go-to eyeshadow primer. It is very smoothing. If you have texture on your eyelids, you will love this formula. This is what I'm currently using on my eyes, and it's going to take something pretty magical to make me put this down. Foundation. So foundation, I have recently been sticking with the Stellar Beauty foundation. Now, for those of you that didn't see the video on the Stellar Beauty, I'll link it up here so you can see a more in-depth review of this foundation. But this is the Stellar Beauty Limitless Foundation. This is $38 for 1.01 fluid ounces. This is a full to medium, very light wearing, natural, all-day wear, semi-radiant finish. It's very skin-like. This is also vegan and cruelty-free. It has fantastic undertones throughout the collection. I am absolutely in love with this foundation, and I have been wearing this every day since I did that video, with the exception of one other one that I'm getting ready to go over with you. But I actually have this on tonight, and I love this foundation. The other foundation that I find myself reaching for all the time is the NARS Sheer Glow. Now, this one has been out for quite a long time, but I always find myself reaching for this one, especially on days where I don't have to look like particularly flawless. I just want something that makes my skin look really nice so I can go to work, go to the grocery store, go through my day. I don't really have an event or anything. I just love this for a all day long wearing, natural, beautiful finish. Now, the NARS Sheer Glow, the name is kind of deceiving. It makes you feel like it's going to be a completely sheer foundation, but it's not. It's $47. You get 1 ounce. It's actually a brightening formula. It's got a natural radiant finish. I would describe it as a medium finish formula. It does have glycerin in it, which is a natural humectant, so it actually attracts hydration to your skin. It traps and it holds moisture there. You'll love the way your skin looks and feels. It's infused with turmeric and vitamin C, which are also brightening ingredients. Radiance, which for people that have hyperpigmentation like me, that is a dream. And it looks beautiful on the skin. It's an oldie but a goodie, and I reach for this. If I'm not wearing Stellar, then I'm wearing the NARS Sheer Glow. Alright, so let's talk about correctors. Well, for those of you that don't know already and haven't seen my previous video on these little ditties, these are the Cover FX Click Sticks, and this is in the peach. I love these correctors. They are amazing. They're $18 a piece, and the formula in these is beyond amazing. And what it does for your under eye if you have severe dark circles is absolutely stunning. This is definitely by far my most reached for under eye corrector. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the Mally Beauty Perfect Prep Hydrating Under Eye Brightener. Now, this is an older package. I've had this for quite a while. She's got newer packaging now, and the Perfect Prep Brightener is $35 for 0.4 ounces. This is a glycerin product as well, so it has a natural humectant in it that attracts hydration and keeps the under eye very hydrated. It's also an oil-free formula, and you guys, she used to call this sunshine in a jar because it is such a brightening formula. I'll give you a really quick demonstration, and the reason I still have this old formula of hers is because this amount that I have in here will probably last me until I'm not here anymore, because you have to use such a little teeny tiny amount and it goes such a long way. So here's the amount that I actually have on the tip of my finger right here, as you can see. And watch, I'll take it and I'll rub it together here, and then I'll put it here for you guys. And I think I actually just put a little too much on. Woo! You need such a small amount, and it just lightens all of, wow, see, I put too much on. But do you see how brightening it is? Like, it's crazy. It's such a brightening product that it's crazy. So I love it. I love it because it's very hydrating. It's incredibly brightening, and it does an amazing job. I put my corrector on, then I put my concealer on, and then I'll go in with this in just places where I know I'm really dark, just to pull forward or brighten those darker kind of shadowed areas. But I think it's something that you guys should definitely check out if you have dark circles. It's totally worth it. All right, really quickly, guys, I just want to touch base with you guys on something. So I just want to make sure you know the difference between a setting powder and a finishing powder. So a setting powder is something that you actually use to set your makeup. Like I will take a setting powder, I'll put it in a velour puff, rub it around, and then you use those kind of pressing and rolling motions to actually set makeup in only the places where you feel like it will move throughout the course of the day, and that's it. Some people set the under eye area because it's a very mobile part and it tends to crease because it moves around a whole lot on your face. Some people will set their T-zones because they tend to be a little more oily. Some people don't have to set at all, so they don't really need setting powders. And then you have finishing powders, which is something that you just take a big fluffy brush and you just brush all over your face for some kind of finishing effect, like a blurring effect or a brightening effect, whatever kind of effect it is that you're looking for, but that is very different than a setting powder. So I just wanted to make sure that we establish the difference between those two because we're about to talk about them. So my favorite setting powder is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. The main reason is because it is talc free, which means that I can set my any kind of foundation, whether it's water-based or if it's silicone-based and it's very thick and creamy, or if it's water-based and it's very thin and watery, I can always set it with this and I know that it's not going to glunk up or cake up on me. If you think about like how baby powder acts when it gets wet, it turns into like that kind of doughy consistency. That's what setting powders that have talc in them tend to do. So the best setting powders for me are setting powders that tend to be talc free. So this falls into that category. This is by far my favorite setting powder. Now, for finishing powders, that's a little different, and it depends on what kind of effect that you want. So for me, a finishing powder can do one of three things. It can mattify you if you're looking for something that mattifies. It can give you a little bit of radiance if you're looking for something to give you a little bit of radiance. Or it can blur out fine lines and pores. And sometimes it can even color correct or add a little bit of pigment. So I guess that would be 4 things. I have 3 finishing powders that I like to use depending on what kind of effect it is that I'm looking for. The first one I want to talk to you guys about is one that I reach for quite often. And this is a finishing powder that I use if I want to add a little bit more coverage to my foundation. So it's going to be a finishing powder that actually includes pigment. So it'll have some color to it. And it's also a neutralizer. So it neutralizes redness as well. I tend to hot flash throughout the course of the day. And if I have a finishing powder on my forehead and on my cheeks where I tend to flush, then a lot of times those hot flashes won't pull through on my face. So I like to finish with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Redness. Now, as you can see, this one is quite loved. I've already hit pan and will probably need to be getting a new one soon. This is in the color Natural Beige, but that's exactly what it does, is it just neutralizes any red tones in the skin, and I absolutely love this powder for that. Again, it's a finishing powder, so this is one that you would use with a big fluffy brush and you just want to do it all over the face. Now, I do know a lot of people that will actually use this as foundation. They'll just put a primer on and then they'll put this finishing powder all over their face. You can do that as well. Again, there's no rules in makeup. This is $38. It comes in 3 other shades, and of course it's IT Cosmetics, so it's infused with all kinds of anti-aging ingredients, including oatmeal, avocado, cucumber, aloe, turmeric, chamomile. All of that is packed into here, so it's got really good for you ingredients as well. The next finishing powder that I really like is by Makeup Forever, and this is their Ultra HD Micro Finishing Powder. And the reason that I like this is if I ever need kind of that mattifying blurring effect where you really want to look airbrushed and kind of flawless and still control oil throughout the course of the evening, this is a great thing to sweep across your face. It's also really good if you have a foundation that's not controlling your pores too well. This will help with that as well. This is a great photo-friendly, video-friendly finishing powder. This you can get for $20 for this little one, or you can get a bigger one for $36. But when you use this, you really just need to do a very light dusting on the face, and that is really all you need with this because it is a white powder. You don't want to put too much on there and get a white cast. If you just do a very light layer, it is flawlessly beautiful on film, on video, on any pictures that you take. You will really like it, and I love that as a finishing powder. And then my last finishing powder that I love is the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is called the Airbrush Flawless Finish, and I am hitting pan on this one as well. This is great for just blurring any imperfections on the skin. It's great for hydration as well. This includes rose wax and almond oil to hydrate the skin throughout the day, and it also has those soft kind of nanoparticles that help blur away imperfection and give you a really kind of soft, radiant cashmere velvet kind of look to your skin, and I really like that. Now this one is $45, but for me it's worth it. So this is a finishing powder that I use, especially like on special events or when I want to look glam or I'm going out for the night. This is the finishing powder that I always reach for. Now this will help me transition from finishing powder into kind of bronzer powder, bronzer slash highlighting powder. So Hourglass has these little mini versions of their ambient light, and these are fantastic. Number one, you don't have to spend the crazy amount of money that the big ones cost. These are only $24 a piece because the powder that's in here will last you forever. And I absolutely love the diffuser infused bronze light. This is a beautiful bronzer to warm up the face. There is absolutely nothing like it, and I have fallen in love with this bronzer, especially when it's used to just warm up the face and go. It is got the most flawless finish on the face. It looks absolutely stunning on, and I have reached for this consistently when it comes to a bronzer. The next one is the Hourglass Dim Light. Now this is what they consider an illuminating powder or a lighting powder. You could call it a highlighter, but you can put this in areas where you would highlight. You could also sweep it over top of the eyebrows. You could put it down the bridge of the nose, the chin, Cupid's bow, any place where light would hit you. This is called dim light, so this would be a very soft focus kind of look, and I love the way this looks. This is beautiful as well. And again, these are $24 a piece. Another mini that I love, which is more for contour and highlight, is the Kevyn Aucoin Contour Duo on the Go. Now, Kevyn Aucoin is a very luxe brand, but he has this little contour duo on the go that you can get at Sephora, and this is only $25. And it has his best-selling contour powder and his best-selling highlighter. So the contour powder is the Sculpting Powder by Kevyn Aucoin, and the highlighter is called the Celestial Powder by Kevyn Aucoin. And it's both in this little compact that again is only like $25, and you have both of these amazing formulas, and you can have them in this little palette on the go, and they're absolutely gorgeous formulas. And because the formula is so stunning, you need a very small amount for it to actually look flawless on the skin. So I'm going to show you just the highlight, for example, and how incredibly gorgeous it is. I mean, that is stunning. It really is absolutely stunning, and you really don't have to use very much at all. And the thing I really like about the sculpting powder is that it's a beautiful tone. It's perfect for a contour on the skin. It's not too gray, it's not too warm. It is the reason it's his best-selling contour powder, because it is flawless and it actually blends out very smooth. Both these formulas are incredibly rich and creamy, and you can get them both in this for a really good deal. I have two blushes that I reach for on the daily. The first color is the MAC Small Mini Powder Blush, and I love this because it is a matte blush, and it's in the color Bashful Aren't We? And it is one of their small blushes because these little pans last forever, and they're only $15, and I love the tone of this blush. The second one is by Makeup Forever. Now, this is a little different because the Makeup Forever blush that you'll find in Sephora is usually the Makeup Forever HD blush. This is their sculpting blush, and the reason I go for the sculpting blush, and you either have to order this off their website or get it through a Makeup Forever store, is because this is an oil-free formula. Their HD formula is not an oil-free formula. Because it has oils in it, it is nourishing on the skin. It also makes it slip off the skin and disrupt the foundation as well. If you have any powder or anything else on, oil and powder just doesn't mix a lot of times. So if you want a good long wearing blush, try and find an oil-free formula, which this is. And so this is the Makeup Forever Sculpting Blush, and this is in number 10, which is just a very pretty pink color, which looks beautiful on the skin. For high-end eyeliners, I always reach for my Marc Jacobs Highliners. These are $25 a piece. I have one in black and one in brown. I love them. They do an amazing job. These are ride or die eyeliners for me. I reach for these all the time. For eyebrows, I like the Benefit Ultra Fine Shape and Define. This does a great job at filling in the brows. I am in number 3. It's just a very fine tip on the end, and then of course it has a spoolie to brush out the brows. I love the spoolie, and I love the formula as well. It's very long lasting on the brows, and I can make really quick work with this eyebrow pencil. So this is my higher end reach for all the time that I go to, but wait until we get to the drugstore video. I can't wait to show you guys the new brow formula that I reach for on the daily. Then when it comes to middle to high-end mascara, I really land in that middle category. This is $23 and it's their In Extreme MAC 3D Black Lash Mascara. And I do think it is the wand is the reason why I love this so much. It has such a fantastic wand. The tip of it has these little teeny tiny spiky things on it that make it really easy to really get in there and get those corner lashes. And then of course the teeth on it are really, really heavy, so it also separates each individual lash and coats it quite well. It doesn't bleed, it doesn't flake, and I really like this mascara. Now another one that's pretty underrated and you don't hear about a lot, and that is by Buxom, and this is just their Buxom Lash Mascara. And I really think that the key to this one is not only is it a great formula that's vitamin enriched and it really stays in place, but the brush on this is intense, and it is an hourglass shaped bristle brush, and the bristles are incredibly unique in the way that they're shaped. It really does an amazing job at getting into the root of the lash and pulling the product all the way through to the ends. It gives a great amount of curl, a great amount of volume, and it is fantastic. And again, this is 20 bucks. Alright guys, and that brings us down to my medium to high-end most worn lips. And the first one is by Jeffree Star. And that is the Jeffree Star Liquid Lipstick in Androgyny. Not only is it a beautiful shade, but this formula is flawless. You can get it for $18 on Beautylish, and I love the applicator. It's that doe foot applicator that has the little dip in it, so it really hugs the lips. The tone of the lipstick is absolutely stunning. I love the formula, I love the staying power, I love the way it feels on my lips, I love the tone of this, I love the color, I love everything about this liquid lipstick. And I wear it quite often. The next one that I reach for all the time is the Dose of Color liquid lipstick formula. These guys really got the liquid lipstick formula down. It's very comfortable. It's incredibly pigmented. Even though this is a matte liquid lipstick, it's incredibly comfortable. It's also vegan. These are also $18 and they look amazing. These are absolutely worth the money. And the newer formula that I found that I really like is the Smashbox Always On liquid lipstick, and I got it in the color Stepping Out, and this is their matte formula. Now these are $24, so they're a little bit more expensive, but the formula is worth it. They come in gorgeous tones, there's a bazillion colors, and the formula is incredibly comfortable on your lips without being drying or getting crackly or creasy or really gross on your lips throughout the course of the day. I am in love with this lipstick formula as well. And last but not least, let's talk about what you guys have all been waiting for, and that is my current favorite medium to high-end palettes. So I have 4 of them, so I'm going to blow through them really, really quickly. The first one that I'm recently loving is the Kristen Leanne collab that she did with Urban Decay, and I love this little palette. It's the Stay Gold palette. It only comes with 5 shadows, but they're absolutely stunning. The formula is great. They're all matte, and I am reaching for this one on the daily. I just got it on sale for $13. The next one that I've recently found that I've been reaching for on the daily is the new Urban Decay Back Talk palette. I love the tones in this palette. It is a nice rosy palette with some great blushes and highlighters, considering that this palette has 8 eyeshadows, 2 highlighters, and 2 blushes in it. I think the fact that it's priced at $46 is not too shabby. It also has this handy dandy little mirror that goes right here in the middle of the palette. I think the overall design of this palette is really, really cute. I love the tones, love the formula. I've really, really been enjoying this palette. This one I think was a home run by Urban Decay, and I've been reaching for this one on the daily. The next palette that I have absolutely fallen in love with is the Matte Palette by Zoeva. And for those of you guys that aren't familiar with Zoeva, guys, this formula is absolutely stunning. It's only $26.50. This palette does boast 10 powder eyeshadow colors with shades ranging from like a misty beige all the way to browns and deep burgundies, muted reds. It's a fantastic, fantastic palette, and it really does blend amazing. If you guys have never tried a Zoeva formula, I would absolutely recommend that you guys give them a shot. They're one of the less talked about formulas out there, and they're the most incredible matte formulas out there. Only second to these guys. And this is my last must reach for product, and that is the Viseart Pro Palette. You guys already know that I think Viseart is hands down the best formula in the world right now. They are incredible. Now this is their Grand Pro Palette Volume 1. This basically is like a $200 palette. But it has every color in it that you could possibly imagine, and they're all incredibly stunning. And it is that amazing Viseart formula. These are all mattes, which is like the key to my heart. I absolutely adore this palette. I couldn't ask for anything more out of this palette. The colors are stunning. Every look you could ever want to create with a matte shadow is in here. The formula is amazing, and I absolutely think this is 100% worth the money. The component for this is beautiful. It's in this matte case that just kind of folds up and then magnetizes at the back, and then it has the Viseart logo on the front. But you guys, this is probably my most reached for palette. I absolutely adore this. It was a gift from my sister, and I will cherish it for that reason, but I love it because of the formula, and anyone in the industry that has ever used this formula knows that it's amazing, so I reach for this one just about every day. Alright guys, so that is it. That is my medium to high-end favorites. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Wait until the drugstore one comes out. There are such amazing finds that I've been using on the daily in the drugstore arena. That one will be coming up next. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite medium to high-end products are in the comments down below. I love reading feedback from you guys. It always makes my day. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video. I hope everybody is happy and healthy, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Mwah.